Hello, I'm Joan Silva, your money dream coach and tidy up coach. This time, I'd like to talk about the 5 saboteurs. I heard of saboteurs from another workshop webinar that I took, and I have used those 5 saboteurs to talk about how, by the way, I renamed them, how they do affect the tidying up of your money and the tidying up of your things. I have been doing a number of videos on tidying up, and of course, tidying up and clutter does affect your money. The times that we move the energy in our things are the times in which we'll see shifts in our money. So, this time, my newsletter is going to be about the 5 saboteurs. So, here's the thing. When you decide that you're going to tidy up in some fashion, whether that's, let's just say, I'm going to tidy up my credit, or I need to pay off all my debt, so I'm going to tidy that up. Or I'm going to sit down and I'm going to manage and organize my money better. Like my husband and I go ahead and have weekly meetings. We're both self-employed, and we say, okay, what's our intention for cash flow this week? And what's our intention for cash movement out this week? The circulation of it. What is it we'd like to see happen? Both based on reality and, of course, intention setting. Works wonders for money, and it's very much the same thing with tidying up. So what happens? Never fail, you'll bump up against one of 5 things. If not, all 5. Yeah. So let's take a deep breath and say, okay, so the first one is, we'll bump into saboteur number 1, which is sedatives. Now, of course, that could certainly be, the drug of your choice, but that's not really what I'm talking about. But just keep in mind that's sort of there too. When I speak of things that we sedate ourselves with, I'm talking about the things we do to numb our minds, numb ourselves out so we don't have to deal with whatever it is. So it could be things like watching TV, could be going on social media, enjoying our friends on Facebook, or another platform, Twitter, or any of those, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat. It could be reading a book. And by the way, napping is great, but if it is the sedative you're using, guess what it does? It throws us off track. Just notice it. Notice if that's your way of not dealing with something. Because we do mistake progress by just moving, our motion, our busyness. We will confuse the two. We think by moving and having a lot of action that we actually are making steps, progressing towards what we would like to have and do. Are we getting closer, or are we getting further away by doing that? And yes, we do need a breather. So let me check my notes here. So saboteur number 2. So number 1 was sedatives. Number 2 is that bright, shiny object, And when it comes to tidying up, it almost always falls on this area. We look at an environment's just a mess. And we think, okay, I need to go to the container store and buy a few more containers to organize. That's a bright, shiny object. We think that having some cool container is actually going to help us. And in truth, we need to let go and purge first. We really need to be zeroing in on what our end result is that we want. And truthfully, I can hide a lot of stuff in the closet and have it look really pretty. Doesn't mean that the end result or the outcome I was looking for was getting rid of a lot of the stuff I no longer need, use, or want. So the 3rd saboteur is dreamland. We spend a lot of time in the dreaming phase. And many of us creatives love this place. And by the way, it is one of the first steps is planning and creating and visualizing, doing a vision board. Here's the problem though. Here's where we fall into not having progress. We don't actually take any action. So we go ahead and we do that really cool vision board, which by the way, if I look across the room, I have one. Actually, I have one on the wall, one here, and one in my husband's office. So I do have vision boards, and I still have to take action steps to get what I want from the vision. That doesn't mean that I make that decision and just bull my way through. My husband says, watch out, here comes the Mack truck. I've had to learn I need to wait till divine action moves it. And that doesn't mean sitting and waiting and doing nothing, because, by the way, we're always getting direction. We're always getting guidance. We just tend not to listen, or it may feel like it's totally unrelated. So that's sabotage number 3, saboteur. Saboteur number 4 is the information seeker, the person who thinks they need one more degree, one more credential, one more workshop, read one more how-to book, something that's going to make them feel like they have enough information to finally do what it is they say they were going to do. So they're constantly seeking information. It's never enough. And that's a saboteur as well. And I can fall into that because I have a perfectionistic tendency. And perfectionism is a saboteur as well. But it is about information seeking, that if I just take this one more class, then I'll have the perfect website. Or if I just take this decluttering class, or read this one book on how to tidy up, which, by the way, will give us guidance. Don't let me kid you. However, we got to use it. So that's a saboteur as well, because we can spend a lot of time doing that and never take the steps we'd like to take. And now let's move on to the 5th saboteur, which is, let me take my notes, resistance. Yes, defiance, roadblocks, all that. Somebody described it as hold out your arm and hold an object in that arm, and you'll notice at some point, no matter how strong you are, suddenly you'll start to find you're wanting to put your arm down, and you'll start to notice resistance, whether that's gravity, whatever. Well, by the way, we do bump up against resistance, and we just need to notice it. It is our ego going, yo, baby, you're making me uncomfortable. Please don't go there. And take a deep breath and say, okay, it's not real. I need to keep on moving. Keep on taking that next step towards the thing that I really want, no matter if that's tidying up in your money, you're right, it is money, in your money or your things. So 2 things I want to end with. It's probably bumping up against 2 areas. One I already mentioned. I'm uncomfortable. So your comfort level will start to get stirred. And I love to use the quote that I got from a mentor that I worked with a number of years ago. He used to say, get comfortable with uncomfortable. Not exactly what I wanted to hear. However, so true. It's time for us to really realize comfort is part of growth. It is part of movement. It's part of thriving. When we bump up against that, we're doing something that we're not used to, maybe not ready for, we think. That doesn't mean we're not meant to move forward. And the second little guidance I can give you, because there is no magic wand that I can wave and say, you will not have discomfort, you will not have fear. So the second thing is fear. And I love the quote from Joyce Meyer. She says, do it afraid. Because, honestly, you'll find out that if you just move through it, you just deny it, you just say it's not real, it's like the boogeyman under the bed. It's seldom real. So I want to leave you with this. If you want to tidy up and have it stay tidy, whether that's in your money or your things, those 5 saboteurs will show up, and it's time to take a deep breath and say, not today, not this moment. Because, by the way, they will show up. We just need to be aware of them. I'm Joan Silva, and I have yourmoneydream.com. I would love to assist you in anything that you might need. If you want a consultation, I would love to chat with you for a few minutes about what help you need in tidying up your money or your things.